biggest Buggins in a long time. And although he doesn't like to be called Mr. Buggin, we'll find out about that later, Mr. Rich Kimball, the purveyor of the Buggin, is with us today.
Yeah, welcome, Rich.
We also want to congratulate the Deets on another one of their carbs and coffee. We went and hung out there a couple weeks back, just ahead of Hillary, and we had a good time. If you haven't tried that and shown up for it, do so. It's just a hangout with a lot of VW people, and it's a tremendous event. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to let my beautiful co-host, Amber, talk about the Capistrano Valley VW takeover.
Yeah, so it's my first time going to that one. It's kind of replacing the Bob. So we used to have a Bob Baker show, and that's kind of gone away through COVID and everything like that. So if you go up the coast just a little bit from San Diego or down just a little bit from LA, somewhere meeting in the middle is the Capistrano Car Show. So, by the way, welcome. Also, thank you for all being here. Make sure you hit subscribe so you get notifications when we sign on. The Capistrano show was great. They had a really good variety of prizes and raffles and awards and all of that. It's a beautiful location, lots of parking.
Yeah, we're going to talk about raffles here in a little bit.
Yeah, don't spoil it for me. So yeah, that was the show was great. It was class act setup for the event.
Yeah,
really
and a rarity. It was free. I mean, free, no charge, and they do a good job of setting it up. And the dealership does a great job of clearing the lot and letting all the cars in.
What better publicity can you get, right? Like, I've driven up the coast and I've seen the dealership and I saw like one vintage bus out front. I'm like, that's cool. But you can see it from the freeway, and to have it like stacked with Volkswagens, that's an eye opener. I think.
And they also are the sponsor of the Bug-In and the Hot VW's Drag Days.
Yes.
They are a series sponsor in the drag racing, and Mr. Kimball, I know, and the whole Kimball family appreciate everything the Capistrano Valley VW dealership does.
So glad to have the show. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Give them their free T-shirt.
That's right.
Hamburger.
That's right. They gave a free hamburger and a free T-shirt.
Yeah, it was a good show. Wow.
So, and a lot of us went, and if you've never gone, it's worthwhile. I highly suggest you go. The other thing we want to talk about is Big Wednesday.
Big Wednesday.
And Big Wednesday was special, and also it was a sad Big Wednesday in a way, because our normal cook, Hot Dog Fred, wasn't there. As y'all know, Hot Dog Fred passed away somewhere back in, was it June, I believe? And yeah, we missed Hot Dog Fred, but the cool thing was, the Kimballs, who were always thinking about everything for their events, they make a sticker for Big Wednesday, and the server guy is holding a hot dog, surfing in the wave, so that was a very cool thing. Then we want to talk about the Million Fest, and we want to ask Amber to tell us about the raffle, besides telling us about the event.
So first, let's talk about the event. Mission Avenue Cruisers has put this on for several years. They do a great job. It's a beautiful venue. There's a winery, which, you know, I appreciate. And then on top of that, they have food and vendors and all kinds of fun stuff. And then they have a great raffle, and they pull coolers out and all kinds of great things. You get vintage coolers, and then they raffle a car.
And somebody won that car. I think it might have been you.
It was me. I won the car. So I won a Baja Bug at the Million Fest raffle. I always buy tickets just to support the events. And when they looked up, and they're like, well, somebody's not going to be able to drive this car home today because I bought a car to the show. And then they called my name, and everybody at the table was like, what? No way.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm not part of the club. I bought my tickets. I was actually explicitly instructed that morning. Get home in time before the rain, because Hillary was coming, my husband Leo. And don't buy tickets today and win a car. Well, I did not buy tickets today. I bought tickets 2 weeks ago, and I won a car.
So I'd like to make a little note on that. Leo Zent posted after she won the car. She posted the car, and his one word was shit. Another car. You know, it's not like the Zent family doesn't already have enough cars.
It's obnoxious. Well, when I met him, he had one, and now he has one, and I have 5.
Then the last previous event we want to talk about, we're going to let Mr. Kimball talk about it, because he went there and we didn't. Buses by the beach.
Oh, that was just last week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk to the
yeah.
mic.
Oh, talk to me. Well, they're always fun, because it's, you know, Saturday morning, go down there, cruise over to Turks for breakfast.
Oh, yeah, Turks for breakfast, very good place.
Very, very good. It was a fun show. And the weather was good. The imaginary Hillary hadn't shown up yet.
Yeah, didn't you say it was a little bit lightly attended because of maybe because
Yeah,
Hillary was.
I think the news broadcaster scared away the people,
But it all turned out
but
fine.
not fine.
Now, was that one where they're parking on the pier, or is that just?
No,
on the
it's
beach?
down at the Dayus Beach at Doheny, so
Oh,
you're
okay.
parked right along the beach.
Oh, nice. Similar to how you set up the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I keep meaning to get up there. I haven't done one of those buses by the beach yet, but I will.
By the way, Big Wednesday was huge, and it's never advertised, so,
If you know, you know.
the second Wednesday in August, I didn't say that, but if you have a chance, and it's the second week in August, you should come down there. Now I'd like to talk about something, it's a little bit of a sad note. We lost a dear friend and a man who meant the world to VW people. He worked in many, many VW stores. He had his own, Barrett Enterprises. He worked for IAP. He worked for AA. Was very much in the hot rod parts industry, and through my business, we interacted for a number of years, and he just recently passed away, and it was very unexpected. And his son, Kevin, is having a celebration of life, and anybody out there who knew the fantastic Ron Barrett is urged to come. It's on September 23rd. It's at the Via Verde Country Club in San Dimas, and there will be a bar there because, like a lot of us VW freaks, we like to have a little cerveza every now and then. And we urge you, if you knew Ron at all, to come there. It's on September 23rd, and it starts at 11 a.m. till 3 o'clock. So it's a great day. There'll be a lot of great VW people there. We urge you to come.
Oh, it's a great show in this fact. I hope everybody can make it.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to future events. I'd like to talk about the Treffin. This is a, oddly enough, Kimball family produced event, and it's in its, what year is it for the Treffin? Nice.
Yeah, it's every other year, so we've been doing it for about 20 years. So this is, I think, the ninth or the 10th, ninth one.
It's, you say, well, it's a VW car show, but it's produced to be like German shows. They would call them Treffen, which means a meet, right? A VW meet. And this time it's out kind of on the way to Silverado Canyon, Lakeview Park, I think it's called. And it's out under the trees, and it's a beautiful area. And now there's a great view of Irvine Lake because Irvine Lake is back. So that makes it very cool. And yeah, I urge you to go. And if you're thinking about entering, do it now. Do it soon. There are running out of entries, and they shut it off at, I believe, 200. And so I think they're closing in on that. So I know that Sonny will be there, and any of you that have an early car like Sonny, or earlier, you know, split windows, it's for 61 and earlier sedans, and buses would be 19,
61, small tail.
same thing, and earlier. So, yeah, come on out. We'll
This
see
is
you there.
different. This is different from the border traffic. I think a lot of people get them confused. So there's
Yeah.
like the Canada to Mexico group.
Yeah, that's a cruise.
Yeah, that cruises down, and then they all meet in San Diego, and then they disperse. But this is an annual event, like a get together, and I came for the first time last year.
Yeah, and I want to remind you, on Saturday is the Speedwell Rally. They're putting that on again this year, and it starts at Wolfsburg West. I'm going to guess probably around 8 o'clock in the morning at Wolfsburg West, and the rally is a lot of fun. It's not one of those rallies that tries to mess you up. You don't have to count miles. You don't have to do anything silly. We're not trying to lose you. We want you to go on a little cruise with a bunch of your buddies. It's a lot of fun. I actually took Mr. Kimball's convertible one year, and I remember it was raining, and I found out pretty quickly that in a convertible, if you go at least 25 to 30 miles an hour, the rain will come up over the top and
It depends on the rain.
yeah, that's right. If it's just a light little, Southern California, other than Hillary recently, doesn't really have rain, as in hard rain. So, yeah, it's a great event. I suggest you come. Then, of course, on October 28th, there's an event put on by the Lions Museum.
I'm going.
And this is a pretty neat event because they're smart enough, it's all VW, they're smart enough to have the Schley Brothers Lightning Bug and a Darrell Vatone car inside the museum on the starting line. So if you go and you enter the car show, it's a little expensive. It's $50 to enter your car.
But this is the first one ever, right?
Yeah, and you get food, you get fed, and you get a tour of the museum. And if you've never been, it's a great event to go to. It's the first of its kind for VWs only, so I'm gonna go. I recommend you go. And then on the 29th, the next day, it's the Hot VWs drag day. And we're looking forward to having a final in all the classes, Real Street, Outlaw Turbo. This event is gonna end up with all our champions for the year, and we're excited about that. It's been a great season. All of the events so far have been fantastic, and we look forward to it.
Absolutely.
There's, I'm told, I don't know anything about this, there's a Big Bear takeover on October 7th. You know anything about that?
Yeah, that's Big Bear, but it's Big Bear, A-I-R, instead of Big Bear, and they do a really great show. So Google it. You don't.
It's a pretty good show.
Yeah. Corey's over here chiming in. It's a good show. It's a nice event. It's a good cruise if you want to drive from San Diego. I think it's like 5 hours for me, but I think from LA it's probably a little less. So good show. I think I've seen photos from past years, and I know folks that go to it, and they like it's on their bucket list. They're gonna go.
Yeah, and by the way, we want to thank our engineer, Corey Ryder, for the great job he always done of making Amber look good and making me look passable. So, we also have our media guy in here. We'd like to give a shout out to Jeffrey Hicken. And we'd like to thank Shin Watanabe, the editor of Hot VWs Magazine, for attending again. And of course, the Schley Brothers for this great location. And we have such a good time here doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next thing I have on my
I
list.
have some events too,
Oh,
right?
excuse me, you go right ahead.
I was waiting.
You're doing a great job.
I'm trying to be patient. People say I'm pushing.
I like
So
it.
there are some events in Southern California that are on my radar. So one of them is the San Diego Air Cooled Crew puts on a fiesta. They shut down Seacoast Boulevard. They pack in 400 cars. They park out on the pier. They park out in the pavilion. They park out, like the Bajas will be out in the sand, maybe mine, I don't know. And then I manage camping that weekend, so there's camping in Imperial Beach. So if you're interested, reach out to me directly. I'll be setting that up. That is coming September 24th weekend. And then I'm putting on a memorial cruise. So I've historically done a Randolph cruise since Randy Randolph passed away. And
Good guy.
yeah, very good guy. Unfortunately, we have a few names to our memorial cruise, and I think we're gonna do a cruise to support several of the folks that we have passed in the past few years. Sorry, a little tripped up. Item number 3. Octo is on 10/14, so we do have an Octo coming up in October. The North County Air Pool from San Diego, so Lee Hedges Group, they do an Oktoberfest at a brewery on 10/15, so the day after Octo. It's a really fun event.
A brewery.
And they do a special beer for the event, so that's super fun. And then on Lucas Hand out of Arizona does an event, Folks Jam, on 10/20 through 23 for it out in Parker. So if you did make it to Busted by the Bridge, make it to Parker for sure. Or if you did it and you loved it, make it to Parker as well. So we do have a lot of stuff still going on, and it's kind of exciting to see. But these are some things on my radar, which I'm looking forward to attending.
We love joining up every now and then and taking the trek down to San Diego because they put on great events and there's a bunch of cool people down there and nice cars. So it's really good. You know, the SoCal VWC is the SoCal.
It is.
That's from San Diego all the way up through past LA, up above Ojai. So there's a lot of territory and we encourage people to go to other clubs' events and support them, and it makes everything better for everybody.
Yeah.
I also want to make some note about on September 10th at Belmont Shores, there's a big car show that Larry Holt from Kearsarge Parts puts on once a year, and it's all cars, but it's a really good show, and Belmont Shores is a cool area to do that at. Also on September 16th is Texas versus the World. The drag race in Texas is thrown down the gauntlet, and I know that Pat Downs is going. I know that Marvin's are going. The Red Baron, Eric is going. Yeah. And so it's going to be a great deal. I'm not saying you all have to go to Texas, but if you got nothing better to do, go to Texas and root California on, because they threw down the gauntlet.
The Texas boys be talking a lot of shit.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a bounty that says the Texas car's gonna win, so.
Whoa,
Yeah.
and bounty. Oh, I don't know.
My vote is for Pat Downs. I know Pat Downs has been working on this stuff really hard. He left CV Performance. He has his own business, and he's been doing a great job at it. So we're rooting for Pat Downs. No offense to the Texas guys. We think they're great, but
I
we're
love
going
that they're
down.
doing this, right? I love that they've like thrown out the gauntlet.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, let's go, everybody, and
Oh,
then they're
yeah.
hosting. So like, totally support that they're putting on this event. I want to support the event, but of course California has to win.
Yeah, well, if the Fun Dog still had a race car, we'd be going, but we don't, so. Anyway, that brings us to our special guest.
I send it to you.
I
Yes.
have this good too.
Mr. Kimball has a piece of my race car, so. By the way, anybody here with a piece of the race car? I brought a box of race car parts, and I'll be happy to give you one, so.
I know.
I think you already got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, welcome, our special guest, Rich Kimble, who doesn't like to be called Mr. Bug-In, although he produced the Bug-In for many years after the original Mr. Bug-In, which would have been Vic Wilson, put it on. So, Mr. Kimble gives credit to where credit's due, but a lot of people still think of him as Mr. Bug-In. He and I have been friends for 56 years, and he's been married to the beautiful part of the Kimble family for 53 years. So he has 3 favorites in his life, besides Bobby: VWs, surfing, and motorcycles. So we're going to start off by letting our beautiful person here ask him about some of these things, vintage events, and etc.
So does beard fall in like number 4?
Beard.
Yeah.
The beard's number 4 in
You're
your
familiar with
family.
every one of them.
Oh, beer. Beer is number 4.
Beer
in
and
your favorite
beers,
things.
yeah.
Well, they come to run tied
Yeah.
and forth, right? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so why? Like, why Volkswagen? Why? Where did you start?
Where did I start? Well,
Make sure this, everybody's gonna wanna know this.
I got a
talk to
Volkswagen in high school.
Okay,
Um,
by accident, on purpose, by
Well,
default?
no, actually, as like a junior in the high school.
Okay.
I had a friend, that was a year older and had a driver's license. And his family were original members of the San Onofre Surf Club.
Okay,
And they, happened to have like a 61 or 2 Westphalia.
oh,
And they would give him the Westphalia to go to the beach, and he would take me. But you can't believe my mom wouldn't do that. And you could steal the night then.
Yeah.
It wasn't a park, it was a private, the club ran the beach.
okay,
And just that experience of going surfing in that bus, as a senior in high school, my grandmother had given me a ticket to go to Hawaii.
okay.
But I got permission to turn it in for the money, and I bought a bus off one of the coaches at Tesla.
A ticket to Hawaii in exchange for a Volkswagen.
Well,
Bus.
pretty close.
Okay.
That says 2 things. It was a lot cheaper to go to Hawaii then,
So a lot
and
cheaper
the
to
buses
bus.
were a lot cheaper.
Buses were a lot cheaper. So I got the Volkswagen bus in the same year my family moved from Tustin to Corona del Mar.
Okay,
So now, when I got up in the morning, I could look out my window in my bedroom and see the last 20 feet of the Newport jetty. Check the swell every morning. And that's what I did. Work or what's the things? in my Volkswagen.
In your Volkswagen, that's awesome.
And
I
that's how I
love
got with the club. In that summer, 1966, I went down to San Miguel in Mexico.
Mexico, yes.
Where they used to have surf contests there every year. And I met a guy, Bill Schuster, who was also recently passed away.
Yep, Michigan.
And he told me about the Newport Beach Volkswagen Club.
Mike.
That
In
Mike.
the meeting. Look at the mic.
Yeah.
Not you?
Talk to the mic.
Well, you can hold it if you want to. Okay.
I just wanted to hear you because this stuff is
No,
great.
this is great. I love this.
So anyway, we were down in San Miguel, and Bill told me about the Newport Beach Volkswagen Club, which met on Tuesday nights at the Shakey's in Costa Mesa. And so the next week I was at the meeting, and after that it was Volkswagens and Volkswagen clubs and everything.
So what came first? Like the classic, the bug-in, Big Wednesday. Like how did all that? Like you like magically went from like a kid who has a surfboard and a bus to like kind of ruling the world.
At one of the meetings at the Newport Beach Volkswagen Club, there was a rumor that this guy, Dick Wilson, was planning an event at the new Orange County Raceway, which had just opened. It was just opening. And I got Dick to go meet with Dick and find out what was going on, and see what the club could do to help or stuff like that. And I hooked up with Dick.
So a little sidebar here. Vic Wilson was a guy who was an off-road racer. He won one of the first 1000s with Reno Miller, two of them. And so the first bug-in didn't just have a car show and drag racing. There was an off-road course. There was a rally slalom course.
So a lot of new buggy vendors.
Yeah, and that was the area that Mr. Wilson lived in, and so he took, which was smart on his part, Rich's help, and the story goes on.
Then it just evolved. At the first event, I parked cars.
Yeah.
Next event, started pre-event promotion. Because I knew where the shop was, and I was kind of driving around, put flyers and that kind of stuff. And then just, managed the trophies, managed the gate personnel, and just took on more jobs each time. And slowly but surely, about 1973 or 4, I became the general manager of his other business, Saddleback Park.
Okay.
And
There's the motorcycle part.
that's the motorcycle park. And then sort of took over running the promotion. And then in 1980, when he sold Saddleback Park, I got the budget.
To buy a
So-
bug-in.
So, a little,
1980 now.
yeah, and a little interjection. The bug-in and the events are not just Rich Kimble. It's the whole Kimble family. The whole family's been involved, There'll be one of the daughters